ראיון שקיימנו אותו מוקדם יותר.
ככה הוא עוד לא דיבר.
עוד לא שמענו. Professor Ellen Dershowitz. Hello, thank you very much for speaking to us.
Good morning. Hello.
Were you surprised by the U.S. decision not to veto the resolution yesterday?
It's a terrible decision. It encourages Hamas to not accept any kind of reasonable offer of a deal for hostages and ceasefire. It gives Hamas everything it wants without demanding, realistically, anything in return. It will lengthen the war. It will make it more difficult for Israel. It is a terrible decision for America. It's a terrible decision for Israel. And it will drive a great many Jewish Democrats like me away from voting for the Biden administration.
But the question is, in your view, does the friction between these two leaders, between President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu, does it stem from personal differences, or are there really substantial policy disagreements at the heart of the matter?
This is not a difference between Biden and Netanyahu. This is a difference between Biden and the people of Israel. The people of Israel, although they're deeply divided about Netanyahu, are not divided about the issue of Rafah, about the issue of defeating Hamas, about the issue of getting the hostages back. So Biden has turned against Israel, not against Netanyahu, against Israel. And that's why in this election, more than any election, I've been voting Democrat, for example, since 1960 for John Kennedy. This is the first election I have ever considered not voting for a Democrat. I find it very hard today to vote for Kamala Harris and to vote for Joe Biden, both of whom I know and like personally. So this is not about personalities. This is about the survival of Israel.
I have to admit that I think that the most worrying part is the fact that there is a growing public in America that when it has to choose between Israel and Hamas, it chooses to side with terrorist organization. What has happened to America?
Nothing. What happened is you're listening to the wrong people. You're listening to the Muslim population of Michigan, 200,000 people. You're listening to some radicals. You're listening to a lot of young people, college students, useful idiots, people who are marching for Hamas. The American public overwhelmingly supports Israel and overwhelmingly supports defeat of Hamas. It's just that the American democratic leadership is out of sync with its people. Now, if you ask me about the future, there are going to be young people who will become older leaders in 10 years. But right now, it's a mistake politically for the Democrats not to support an Israeli defeat of Hamas.
You're visiting Israel to launch your new book. Congratulations. And you've met with Prime Minister Netanyahu. What did you think of his response to the U.S. not vetoing the resolution? Would you advise him to take such a radical step as pulling back the Israeli delegation from Washington?
Yes, I think that Israel has to show toughness. It has to show the toughness that Menachem Begin showed and that others have showed. Israel is an independent sovereignty. Biden is thinking very hard now about the two-state solution. The two states, however, are Michigan and Pennsylvania, or Michigan and Nevada, or Michigan and Arizona. He's much more concerned about his electoral victory in 2024 than he is about the future of Israel-American relationship.
You previously mentioned that Israel should prepare itself for the time when it might lack the U.S. support. Given recent developments, how immediate is this threat in your eyes?
6 months. I'll tell you why. For the first time in my lifetime, the Israel issue has become a partisan issue. If a Democrat is reelected, and if we see the Democratic Party continue to move hard left and away from Israel and away from Western values, and the Republicans lose the elections, it may very well be that in the near future, starting in November of this year, Israel is going to have to begin to go at it alone, militarily, diplomatically. It has to be prepared for it to be Israel against the world. The world has turned against Jews before. That's why I titled my book, The War Against the Jews. If I had it to write over again, I would have a different title. It's the war against Western civilization. It starts with the Jews, but it never ends with the Jews. If Hamas wins, it defines victory as weakening Israel. And if it weakens the relationship between Israel and the United States, then Hamas has won, and it will do it again and again and again.
Professor Dershowitz, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.